Hello, my name is Ilina Logani. I am a junior at Columbia, class of 22, studying economics and English, and my research this past summer was generously funded by the International Affairs Fellowship Fund through the URF. My work this summer was performed with Dr. Erin Levy and blended English literary analysis with contemporary psychological theory around intergroup relations to interrogate the role that multiracial authors played in 20th century transnational literature. And through a literature review of contemporary psychological studies revolving around intergroup relations, I was able to isolate a single theory, hypodescent, as the framework through which I could view multiracial authors and their works during this period. And hypodescent holds that mixed-race individuals are automatically assigned by society to the race of the lower status parent. For example, Du Bois, W.E.B. Du Bois, who was biracial black and white, was viewed simply as black. And hypodescent operates using two main mechanisms. The first is that the dominant in-group, in this case white people, over-exclude when determining who can belong in their group out of a need to preserve a hierarchical power structure. And secondly, the marginalized out-group, so in our case non-white people, over-include when determining who can belong in their group out of a sense of shared oppression and a desire to strengthen political power. So using this framework of hypodescent, I then took two multiracial authors, W.E.B. Du Bois, as mentioned, and Cedric Dover, and examined their works. With Du Bois, I examined his novel Dark Princess, and with Cedric Dover, I examined his poetry collection Brown Phoenix. And what I found in both were repetitive patterns in both works of highly visual language when describing race, instead of subscribing to the typical categorizations of race that we would normally expect. For instance, instead of saying that a character was African American, Indian, or Middle Eastern, they would simply use descriptions like brown, dark, and colored. And by using this language of color, they were able to describe characters from different biological races in remarkably similar ways. In essence, what I found was these writers broadened the very definition of race to include the entire colored world using the language of color, and specifically the color brown. I would argue that this was done through the theory of hypodescent, whereby minoritized authors created the common broad in-group of colored people instead of, specific categories of race, because of an explicit belief in shared oppression between people of color during this period. It also allowed both authors to form a broad in-group that included them despite their multiracial identities. This research allowed me to explore the unique position for racially liminal authors to problematize otherwise assumed binaries and constructs such as that of race, something that will only grow to be more relevant in our increasingly multiracial world. Thank you.